live.
What is going on, everybody? We just got back from the Jackass Forever premiere.
Really good.
Right. And right when we walked in, too, the guy was just like, oh, you guys going to see Jack? And I thought, like, being a jackass for a moment and being like, his shirt didn't give it away. Like, oh, it's making small talk. That weather out there is something else.
I can barely hear him with this mask on, to be honest. I didn't even hear what the
So it is opening weekend. If you got some time, check it out. Go to the theater. Do the recliners and everything like that. It's fantastic.
Recliners, game changer.
In luxury. I almost passed out, like, when the previews were gone. I was just like...
I almost took a nap, dude.
Shout out to Regal.
I was
fancy chairs.
Dude, I was vibing, dude. I gotta tell you, we're like, what? How did we enjoy movies before reclining chairs? Like, I can't even remember
the struggle that we didn't even know.
So,
but it was nice.
Like the foldy ones, you had to like sit, and if you like stood up too fast, you get like
and it like snapped. Oh my god, it was quick too.
Let's get sandwiched like a
the
mousetrap.
minute you get up, it just boop, clip real quick. I just want to say, doing this show, we've been doing this for like a while. A couple months.
Like 2 months.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird though because like normally we would talk like every day, and kind of doing this. It's like we don't like talk as much because we want to keep everything like fresh and like real light instant reactions. So it's a little weird not talking to you every day.
Are we getting in our feels right now?
Bit.
I feel like
a little bit because it's a little weird, but
it is odd. It is odd, but he's right because we always like even when we do speak, we'd be like, dude, I got it. Actually, man.
Yeah,
it's I just want to see what you think about this. I had a question in my head, and this is just bullshit that we do all the time anyway. So,
but the good news is, though, I get to see you a lot more.
Right.
So that does.
It's like once a week, man. It's like a bro day.
Exactly.
It's like a scheduled bro day.
I know.
Every week.
And
it's kind of
Sunday, Monday, bro day.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the information that we would share is pretty minimal.
Right.
It's sort of like that midweek time. We do a PS4 conference, I like to call it. He's playing and I just log in. We just party up and
he doesn't game anymore, so
it's just not. I mean, I'm just not.
He's too busy.
I just ain't feeling it. I'd rather watch movies and stuff. But
I will say though, we do vibe on the topics. Like even though we don't really talk that much, like if any of us brings up an idea, the other one's like. You
did that this week because on Monday I sent you Joe Rogan released a reaction video to Neil Young removing his music from Spotify.
Yeah.
I know you watched it. I watched it. You didn't get a chance to.
I didn't get it, but I saw it. Like I saw the news and I was upset because I was like, "Oh, he's taking his songs off Spotify." I was so upset because it's like "Sweet Caroline." I really like that song.
This fucking guy.
And then I figured out it's not. It's Neil Diamond.
I literally was about to. I'm like, wait a minute. Even
I don't know who the fuck Neil Young is.
Even I.
I was so sad, and then I'm like, oh.
White folks can't help but sing along.
Look,
sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know who Neil Young was either, and I could get.
Well, he certainly doesn't have a heart of gold.
Like I don't like.
Obviously, you're a fan.
No, I'm not a fan. Crosby, Stills, and Nash got a service done to him by him being like, I'm out of here. His shit ain't that good anyway. Like, and do you really honestly think that Spotify would dip out on after spending $100 million on a deal with him? The Neil Young's like, I'm taking my music, and they're like, okay, there hasn't been a whole lot of traffic,
right.
So
and even that,
not that there's traffic on us either, but I'm just saying like we're not being like we're taking our stuff off of YouTube because YouTube has stuff I don't like.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
It's like the ego you have to try and think you're worth that. Even if Beyonce threatened to take her music off, they're not gonna pull someone else because someone does it. Because if they do that, that sets a precedent, and a bunch of other artists are gonna get pissed off.
Beyonce is that's heavy. That would be heavy, bro.
If she brings,
they might not, but if others would have a domino effect because of her influence, I could see that happening.
Here's
like Joni Mitchell goes and you're like, yeah, no, that kind of okay. Mm-hmm. Well, once again, a whoop-de-fucking-do.
Right.
If Beyonce goes, the next thing you know, like all these other artists that people are really like, after enough added up,
because artists they make a lot of money from that. The only reason Neil Young doesn't care is because he's 900 years old. He's gonna die tomorrow. He doesn't care about what money he's making from royalties.
Oh, you're gonna find out. But you had something to say?
I just this is why Joe Rogan went to Spotify and did that deal in the first place, because he saw with YouTube, and we've even talked about how they are censoring people, whether you agree with it or not.
Right.
They are. They just permanently banned Dan Bongino, regardless.
What did I call him the other day? A boingo?
Yeah, I don't know.
He was like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, I get his spiel. He's an over the top. I'm a very angry conservative,
Right.
and this is what I'm mad about. I'm like, it doesn't appeal to me.
I understand.
I mean,
that,
regardless, he shouldn't. Right.
Yeah.
I still feel like even though it doesn't appeal to me, and I ain't watching it.
Because that's your choice.
Right.
You don't have to watch
exactly,
it.
and I feel like more people should just do that instead of
but
pulling out the shepherd stick and yanking someone by the neck.
But Joe Rogan saw that early on.
Yeah.
He saw that early on, and that's why he has that contract and deal with Spotify. And I'm sure there's a sometimes like with quarterbacks, like a no trade clause or something like that. Like, I don't know. I didn't read the contract. I'm just saying.
Oingo Boingo is what I called his show. The Oingo Boingo Show.
Have you ever listened to a podcast on Spotify?
Wait, what?
Have you ever listened to a podcast on Spotify?
Before Rogan?
Anytime?
Yeah.
Nope. I thought it was all music.
Just Rogan, yeah. I mean.
Okay, but
you listen to Rogan.
I do.
After the move. Before he was on Spotify, did you listen to any? I think that's the question he's trying.
Yeah.
On Spotify,
I haven't listened to him since he's gone on Spotify. Because I don't think... But what the fuck happened to Audible?
What do you mean?
Do you guys remember Audible?
Don't they make the hearing aids?
No, that's like the program. They probably do.
Isn't that changing the play in football?
I don't know. It isn't.
I'm just saying,
wasn't Audible the Amazon one?
fuck's-
The Amazon.
Yeah,
was
but
it?
it's like about podcasts and like no one gives a shit about that app. They just care about Spotify.
I didn't even know that app still existed.
Yours truly included, apparently. I mean, sorry. It's more like ignorance. It's not exactly like, fuck that. I guess.
Yes. Would Neil Young pull his music off of Audible?
I think that's the only place he has.
I don't know.
That
I don't know.
What, SoundCloud, right? Is that still a
LimeWire.
thing? SoundCloud?
I'll have to ask Travis. I mean, I feel like he's been
LimeWire.
moving
I
his stuff.
remember that shit.
Travis has been moving his stuff to Spotify as well.
Yeah.
Travis is on Spotify. So,
Music.
but I know in that response video that Rogan had put out about all of this news breaking, some of the stuff that he had to say, interestingly enough, even obviously it's not even, he's the fucking top of the castle.
Right.
But we had discussed, like when we sometimes get some feedback from some of our friends and some of the subscribers that do interact with the show, that I'm like, I guess we could do that a little bit better. That makes a decent point. And then you look at stuff and you're like, we could do that a little bit better. He somewhat did that now at the level that he's playing at, to be like, okay, having the controversial episode, but then host the opposite opinion, a guest of equal credentials of the opposite opinion immediately afterwards. That way you satisfy everyone. Right. So he's still kind of learning the game, because here's what people fail to realize about him. Yes, does he have people on there that are pretty fancy and stuff like that, and they have all this stuff backing them? Sure. He's not a news program. It's a podcast.
Right. It's an opinion.
We talked about, it's an opinion, and he does that all the time. We've done it here too. We're not doctors when we're talking about, whatever like that. We're not, but this is just the conversation. And if you're not going to have the conversation, then anybody can just do anything if they pull all the strings. So it was 2 specific episodes recently that is what got the most outrage, and what I guess sparked Neil Young's decision to start this leaving Spotify, was one from Dr. Peter McCullough, who's a cardiologist, who's the most published physician in his field in history. Like I said, I don't know what they talked about, but apparently he said stuff that people didn't like about COVID and stuff like that. The other one was Dr. Robert Malone, who owns 9 patents on mRNA vaccine technology, which means even though he may not be directly involved with the COVID vaccine, his technology was ultimately used in the creation of the and other vaccines, right? And that was one that people that are more pro-mask, more pro-social distancing, more pro, excess sanitation, maybe the people that wear like 3 masks and a face shield and gloves in the store, you know what I mean? Like, right, they don't like it. So it's like, well, this... it's misinformation. Joe Rogan's spreading misinformation. No, Joe Rogan's just sitting there being like, huh?
And it's funny because he changes his worldview so much. He, I don't know if you guys ever saw, the old stuff he did with, Eddie Bravo. Mm-hmm. But he used to believe, the moon landing was fake. Completely legit. He thought it was completely fake.
This guy thinks there's a moon.
Well, Eddie Bravo still thinks that, that the Earth is flat.
Nuts.
He still thinks the Earth is flat.
He thinks space is fake.
Okay, if the Earth was flat, then rainbows would be a straight line.
Facts.
No.
If I can do that with a hose in the backyard and as the same,
could you make an argument that time zones wouldn't exist and we would all constantly be either sunny or dark at the same time?
There's a whole host of different things.
We'll go down that rabbit hole when we decide to sniff in it.
But here's the thing with Rogan though, that he gives a lot of time in each show, right? 3 to 6 hours, right?
The longest we've done is what?
An hour and a half.
Hour and 40 minutes, maybe touching
we were wiped out right after.
It's.
But he goes.
Can't wait for it to be over.
But he goes.
Right? You know what I'm talking about.
I think he does give equal time to both sides. I mean, look, he'll have Bernie Sanders.
He's had
Sanjay
Gupta.
Sanjay Gupta, the CNN guy that. And they talked about his whole, horse dewormer thing. Yeah. And he'll have Tulsi Gabbard on and people like that. And then on the other side, he'll have Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones.
Jordan Peterson,
whoever. And it's just...
Alex Jones is fucking nuts.
It is... he's nuts.
I heard you.
But let me tell you, though, a lot of the shit...
Where are they? Sorry.
A lot of the shit that he says, though, does come true. And I'm just saying, not all of it.
The water is making frogs gay?
The amphibians are homosexual.
Yes.
Bastards.
I didn't say everything. I just said most of the shit. Okay?
I'm going to the swamp in June. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, God.
If that's the case. But what this opens up to is the concept of misinformation. Misinformation is being spread. And he makes a good point of, like how you said, he's had people that would probably have opposing views on his show about different topics, I'm sure, or maybe about similar ones. But the timing. Now he's going to adjust the timing of it. So that way, there's not this kind of, where Neil Young and everybody, then we get mad and we just jump ship, real quick. Because for him, it almost felt like there's no need for this. That's kind of
I don't think he should. I really don't. It's his show. He shouldn't have to schedule his show or whatever to just appease society.
Right.
And people if people don't like him, they're not going to listen to him. So they're going to bitch either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's
and then it's over.
He got to where he is for doing what he's been doing.
And he's talked about that, how the show is just him, he's just been talking for years and years and years. He just talks. He doesn't he didn't do this to have a sphere of influence over a huge portion of the population.
Right.
He just talks.
He wanted to have interesting conversations.
It's a fun thing he enjoys. Right. It's a hobby that turned into a job that turned into whatever. Yeah. It's not even technically his job.
And he even said in his response that he had no idea it was going to get to where it is now, and because it's so massive that this is the kind of effect that it has.
It's no longer an opinion; it's a fact, just because of how big it is.
Right.
Which is stupid.
But going back into it, he does talk about the concept of misinformation and things that we thought were true some time ago have now found out to not be true. He mentions, if 8 or so months ago, or when the vaccine first rolled out, if you went online and said that, some of the earlier studies do suggest that, it's not a fail-safe. You could still get it. It won't be as bad, but you could still get it, and you can still spread it, unfortunately. You're in Facebook jail.
Yep.
You're in the meta jail. The metaverse, the meta dungeon. That's where you go. That's where we stuff them. Now, it's common knowledge amongst everyone. No matter where you lean politically, no matter where you lean socially. That's the thing. Same with cloth masks. I don't think cloth masks do anything.
No.
If you said that 8 months ago, boom, right to the meta dungeon. Gone. Now, everybody's kind of like,
Well, bro, I mean,
I wouldn't say everybody. I'd say a lot more people here in Florida. But you got to remember, there are some states.
That is true.
It just depends.
But here's the thing: is he's issuing this video. There's a clip of Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, and it doesn't matter what you think about Rachel Maddow. All that matters is the information that she had said was that the vaccine stops this virus. You can go look it up. That video is circulating.
But that doesn't matter.
But exactly,
doesn't matter.
because she's human. She may have believed it. She may have been given this information. It's her show, so she's hosting a show. She's got, people that are supposed to be fact checking and researching and doing all this stuff, and it ended up being a mistake. You can't catch it. You can't spread it. If you get the virus and you're vaccinated, it goes and then it has nowhere to go. Obviously, and she may have thought that was the case, but they've never come out being like, look, man, like maybe we should go about this a little better. Maybe there wasn't people like leaving the viewership or advertisers pulling out on them.
But she.
So they're mad that Joe Rogan, even though he's not a news source, more people are flocking to it like flies on shit because it's unfiltered. It is just like how you said. He's just going right, yeah. But the people he's having on there are going to spark just a controversial conversation, a funny conversation, a deep, meaningful conversation. You don't know.
Well, not just that, but the majority of people now more than ever distrust major news organization, whether it's Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, all of them.
Right, they're jealous of his ratings.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So, and there's some people that look at Joe Rogan and they find the information that is displayed on his show more valuable and more, believable or more truthful.
The questions that are asked.
Than the modern day, because he'll ask any question, and the people that he does have on, they do have credibility. It's not like he's just grabbing people off the street.
Right.
And
well, if you think about a political debate, for example, when they're asked a fairly direct question, they do this whole dance. Or fly out of there. There's a whole dance when they go around it, and then it like follows up, and by the time it's at the end of it, I'm like, I don't even remember what the fucking question was.
Show.
Because it's a show. Right. So even if he asked those hard questions of those, they still give him their honest opinion, no matter what it is, no matter if you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whether it can be debunked, whether it can be proven true. Yeah. Because even he will go back and change his and be like, whoop, my bad. I thought this.
Like you change it which is why it's like nice.
Give me enough evidence. I feel like I operate on that, and I feel like the three of us do at the same time. Give me enough evidence, and I'll be like, I was wrong. Remember the Silver Alert thing when you brought that up?
Yeah.
Right. And you had to be, and we were talking about it, and you're like, I owe someone an apology.
Yeah.
That's the type of, and that's probably why they're so attracted to it, because, like I said, even though MSNBC may have known they made a mistake by saying that or letting that go on air, and then after a little bit, you're like, oh shit.
But it's different though. Like
they don't apologize or not apologize, but be like, we could do this
but
better.
She shouldn't
We're going to try.
Right.
Yeah.
But she.
And then they're like, oh, Joe Rogan's horrible. And it's like, well, at least he's trying. And guess what? More people are going to flock to it now.
Well, and here's the thing. You can literally have video clips of them saying that, like contradicting what they've been saying.
Oh, The Daily Show has been doing that for years.
But it doesn't matter. You can have all the proof, and it doesn't matter. No one cares, and it's on one side. They're right, and the other side's wrong. And everybody's held to a different standard. And, I understand why Joe Rogan in the first place went to Spotify, because he saw this coming in the beginning of censorship.
You're pretty much at the mercy of the platform.
And that's another thing that I found funny when he went to Spotify, but it's another thing about him changing his views is there's an episode I saw with him, I forget who he was with, but he basically said, like, I will never sign a deal with anyone because he doesn't feel comfortable. Like if shit changes, you can't adjust to it because you're stuck in a contract.
Yeah.
Sure enough, later he's signing a contract. But at least that shows like the
Right.
flexibility of his character and how it changes based on his needs and what he wants. And
because I think maybe he just felt that YouTube wouldn't go in the direction that they kind of been going, and because that's where he originated his platform. Like that was his original platform. That's where he grew. That's where
he's still big on it because he has the podcast. He used to have a clip channel and the podcast channel.
Okay.
And now the clip channel died and just stopped posting, and he now is posting the clips on the podcast channel.
Okay.
So like I think it's allowed 2 videos in the contract because he only posts 2 videos per podcast regardless. Like
I think you could still go back and watch his old.
The old ones are still there.
Yeah, his old ones. His like first 1,000.
1,300 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the 200 MMA ones.
Yeah,
I'd be lost.
I just like how like these like.
You ever done DMT, bro?
No.
Monkeys.
I like how these artists like Neil Young and I know there was like a couple other like smaller artists that they think that threatening well we'll just take her music like threatening
like the ego is insane.
Like
to think you have any power there.
Yeah, do you really think people give a shit like what you think or anything like that?
And
what influence do you have? Go ahead.
And you were saying too, like Neil Young, like what kind of money financially would he potentially be losing, like coming off of Spotify? Like how you said, like what influence do you like at this point? It's interesting you bring that up because he has been making some moves. Right now, he's moved his entire catalog to Amazon. So Neil Young to Amazon viewers is a quote from him. All new listeners to Amazon Music will automatically get 4 months free. Great place to enjoy my entire catalog. Blah 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 yada yada yada. And it's like everything that this rocking in the free world, everything this guy used to stand for, he is now getting in bed with pretty much the antithesis of that.
Yeah. Sitting down patiently and
I'm just like, okay. Forbes, this is from Forbes. Just over a year ago, Young sold 50% of his publishing rights to his entire song catalog to Hypnosis Song Fund, which I've never heard of. It was a UK-based investment fund in a deal worth a reported $150 million.
Money laundering.
So there's that.
Who the fuck is giving you this kind of money, dude? I didn't even know who the fuck he was, and he's getting $150 million. Unbelievable.
October 12th of last year, 2021.
Oh, during the pandemic. Can't wait to hear this shit.
Hypnosis launched a $1 billion partnership with Blackstone. So I had to look up Blackstone because I didn't know what that was either. Blackstone is an investment company currently buying out entire American neighborhoods and raising prices in those markets. Of course, during these times, making it somewhat financially difficult for some families to buy their homes. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, they can play the game however they want it to. And then so I'm looking at Blackstone. Blackstone's senior advisor is a guy by the name of Jeffrey B. Kindler, who is a former chairman and CEO of Pfizer.
They have people. I mean,
just follow the money.
Do we have to go any further?
Just follow the money.
There you go.
That's all I did was follow the money, and that's the information I ended up finding. I'm just like, that's peculiar. So you want to talk about misinformation and people wanting to pull things and who the money is going into and through
it's a narrative. It's a narrative. If you go against a particular narrative, guess what? You're the enemy. Doesn't matter what facts you put out, what footage you have, proof, does not matter.
Like you and I have and of course, even before we did this podcast, just working together, have had conversations. We are not seeing eye to eye on the issue at hand or the topic at hand, and we're just going right. But we don't. I'm never talking to Will again. Right. I'm canceling him from my brain. I am leaving.
Cancel Will.
But I will hold on. I will tell you this. So some shit that I do bring up to Tyler, and I tell him, he looks at me like, "Whoa, you're crazy," and then he does the research. He comes back. He goes, I can't fucking believe it."
I almost pull a Joe Rogan. Initially, what he says, I'm like, "Fuck you, man. I ain't fucking blah blah." And then I look into it, and I'm like, all right, well, all of this kind of says my opinion's wrong. It's still my opinion, but it can shift and it can change. And even if it's now in agreement with him, that's still an opinion. That doesn't mean we don't live in a world of facts anymore. That's danger.
Well, so how do you feel? Because on the video, I know Ryan, you didn't watch it. That I guess he's now Spotify. What they're gonna do is have like a thing in the beginning of like some certain shows,
like a disclaimer.
A disclaimer, right? I was looking for the word, but now they're gonna have disclaimers now.
And he agreed to it. He said he's down with that. He's down with that.
Because he doesn't care. He's not looking to be a news.
And that's in addition to a change. Well, right, I agree. But that's how much he's willing to just play ball so that everyone can be involved in the conversation. And I feel like that's important.
I wish we held news organizations to this standard. But hey, if you do a
that's kind of my point.
Do a podcast, this is ridiculous.
That's because the news people they're a bit upset that, he's a bit more successful. And even when he's wrong, owning up to it, changing, accepting those things, right. Being upfront and honest about it. There's a lot to be said about that, and there's a lot of respect that a lot of people apparently have for that, which you can't really say about Fox News, CNN, OANN, MSNBC, none of that nonsense, because none of them will ever apologize for it when they're wrong.
I'd like to see who has more ratings, CNN or Joe Rogan.
I didn't look it up, but I should have.
I'm just saying.
I should.
We should look that up, because I guarantee
we'll check that,
you're going to be surprised by that answer. I'm just saying.
Check that out. We can check that out.
And so, anything else you heard about the Spotify or anything like that?
That's pretty much I heard that right when that last bit of information about Jeffrey Kindler and where he had come from and all that money getting moved around and through organizations he's still involved in, and then you wonder who's going after him. And because that's why people are starting also to mistrust those news organizations, because like how you said, they're all sponsored by Moderna and Pfizer. You got numbers for us?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
CNN, according to Adweek.com, CNN averaged 1.078 total viewers in prime time, and Joe Rogan averages millions, basically.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought you meant 1.87 million.
No, 1.078 million.
1.07. So you didn't say million. You just said 1.087. And I'm like, they have 1.087 views. Like that's pretty. That's worse than I thought.
I'll look up Joe Rogan viewership just to be sure.
Oliver, have you been watching it? 0.078 views.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I think it's
109 million downloads a month.
Okay. Yeah, they're pissed. They're pissed.
Yeah.
They're pissed
because, like I said, people mistrust mainstream media.
And Jeff Zucker now, the head of CNN, stepping down, and I heard it was because of an at-work relationship. Now, is that code
that's
for...
He pulled a Bill Clinton.
Surprise!
But don't forget how much he hated Trump, and they were bashing Trump, and all. But look at the shit that they put.
I get it.
They're doing what they're pointing the fingers at.
They're doing it too. They're no fucking better. And you know who I've never really heard? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll have to pull a JR. Can we call it that?
Pull a JR.
Pull a JR when you change your opinion. For respectable reasons. If you get convinced the other way around, you pull a Rogan. But, I forgot where I was going with that. So fuck it.
It was somebody you said. It was somebody that you were curious if they.
Has there been anything against Joe? The guy I was talking about, Joe Rogan.
No.
I think I need a little more sauce.
Him.
Like in terms of like sexual harassment,
now you're gonna give
rapey shit.
Now you're gonna give them ideas to.
They're not watching.
I'm sure.
I mean, there's an NSA guy in there. There's an FBI.
Oh, there's
guy
a CNN
in
lover in
there
too. I'm just saying. I know there's a CNN lover on there. I get a lot of heat from that. I'm just saying. I get a lot of heat from that, so I'll definitely keep going on that.
I disagree with him plenty. Just love him anyway, like I do. It's so much easier.
But
so much easier.
Speaking of, because you told me earlier that Neil Young was from Canada. So there is something going on in Canada that I just want to touch on. And that's this whole, with the Canadian truckers protesting and blocking the roads and all that.
It's Canada on strike.
I will tell you this. I have never...
Crown Chesters.
Give him a Bennigan's gift card right now.
I have never seen.
Love that episode.
I've never seen Canadian people like protest to like this level ever.
It's pretty rare.
And to me, I kind of take it as like it's kind of a big deal because like to me,
you're going. You know of anything?
Well,
no, go ahead.
In my mind,
because I don't have anything.
Because all right, regardless of how big a protest is, it's gonna seem big based on how it's broadcasted.
Fake news, right?
No, I'm just saying like
you could make it look like it's the whole country.
Of course, right? Which I think is part of it, but I think like of course all the truckers are gonna be pissed off about vaccine mandates because they're truckers.
Yeah.
Like it's a very like.
Oh, you're painting a broad brush here.
There's a very narrow dynamic of what a trucker is.
Yeah.
It involves hats. It involves country music. It involves good old brewski with the boys.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, of course, all of them are being pissed off. So and you have trucks, they're pretty big. So
listen, but they do have support, and I'm just
100%.
and I'm just saying to me, Canada has always been. Like that quiet kid that sits in the corner of the classroom.
Well, fuck with that guy. He's got a gun.
Anything, just stays out of the way. Doesn't give a fuck what's going on. So just the fact that something like this is going on in Canada, to me, it's a little not alarming, but it's a little bit surprising, at least to me.
Right, and for the Americans, let me just say, y'all can take a fucking lesson. Nobody's burning down and looting stores. Nobody's storming the Capitol. Yeah, I'm going to eat my words on that, maybe. Who knows? But no one's storming the Capitol. Right. Now, Trudeau's already out of there. You know what? I saw a TikTok the other day. A guy goes up to a McDonald's and orders the Trudeau combo. And the girl was like, I'm confused. He goes, the Trudeau combo. She goes, I don't know what that is. He's like, the McChicken. She starts fucking dying. He's out of there. He's out of there. He pulled a Trump. When shit got too hot in D.C., with the BLM protest, out of there. Same thing with Trudeau. Doesn't matter. Same side. The coin doesn't matter what side you're on. They're all shitless fucking cowards.
Word. He's just pulling a narrative, and he's dismissing.
Well, no, absolutely, absolutely, and that goes back into the whole misinformation thing because, like how we said, you'd be put in the metaverse dungeon if you were to say that. You know, those things about the vaccine, anything like that. Trudeau actually came out and said that, like, you know, it's a small fringe movement with people that have, and I wish I wasn't quoting, unacceptable views.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's just freedom.
Well,
unacceptable views to you?
Right.
Like, specify that.
Right.
If you did that, unacceptable, okay. Well, that's honesty, and that's a more opinion, really, because the facts are always turning themselves on their heads when the media comes out and goes, this is how it is, this is what happens, blah, 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 blah. Then time goes on, and then we're like, oh, shit, we were wrong. That's the science you should follow. I know everybody says follow the science. Science is constantly trying to prove itself wrong. Yeah. And this is a perfect example of pseudoscience, which, and I know we're going there, was Stalin's deal in Russia. Make the science or explain the science to the people about things so that you can, like how you say, promote a narrative, make certain money off it by the media outlets that are pushing this kind of scientific information. But then when I've had COVID. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so okay, so then a lot of people have. You still haven't. Some fucking how you got like a magical.
Should have been dead 2 years ago.
I imagine you like Crash Bandicoot with was it Ooga yeah, just floating around you, and he's just like.
Look, my mom's.
Fuck away from me, sneeze.
My mom's.
You know?
I mean, my mom's.
Whoa!
My mom's got it. Not got it, but she's caught it.
Right.
Multiple times.
I'm just saying. Right,
saying,
and that you can get it multiple times. If you told people that at the beginning, they'd flip the fuck out. Now we're like, yeah, you can get it again, but it might not be as...
And I do nothing special. I don't have a special diet that I'm on.
Oh, I don't, yeah.
I'm not hitting the gym, guys. Let's just be honest, okay? I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, if we just went off of what mainstream says, I should have been dead 2 years ago. Shouldn't even be here. But apparently, I'm still here. I just hate how we're just so polarizing now, and it's you have to fit a certain narrative.
Right.
And if you have any sort of different idea or a disagreement, you were vilified.
So,
and that's not what this country was like built on.
In that same vein, I'm assuming you side with the truckers.
Yeah, I do.
So you support like bodily autonomy in that way.
Bodily autonomy. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Using big words, dude.
Yeah, you're using big fucking words, bro.
Big
You're gonna have
words.
to bring
Because
that.
right, what did Kevin Hart say?
Like doing what you want with your own.
Because I don't understand you, I'm gonna take that as disrespect.
Hey, just like when women say "my body, my choice," that goes for men too, bud. Yep, even your fucking truckers. How about that? Their body, their choice. That's what it's about.
Do you oppose?
I choose to put beer in my
mandates?
body.
Do you oppose vaccine mandates for like children to get into school, like polio and measles?
Do I oppose those types of vaccines?
Yes. They have to do it, otherwise they can't get in school.
Yeah,
No, because guess what? That's kind of been proven, whereas this one kind of hasn't.
Yeah, I mean that is.
Can we agree on that at least? That's what I mean. Like,
I mean, not like. Because there's been, I mean, it obviously reduces this. It's like a flu shot.
But that's what
that's
we're
my
all
point.
trying
It's
to
like,
say. Is I don't get the flu shot every year. It's not necessary for me. So why
right,
is everybody always
the flu
angry?
shot's been proven to be effective. Is my point. It's not.
That's
I
fine.
guess
But have you
everything.
gotten the flu shot and then right after they tell you need to take another one? And then a couple months.
That frequency.
You're
That's
gonna need
true.
a booster.
Well,
You
yeah,
know
it's
what?
every year.
There's a new.
Yeah,
strain,
no,
you're
every
gonna need a
year, but like
booster.
in the rate that this shit's coming out.
Well, it was like 6 months, which is half a year, and that's just because it's new. It's basically.
I
like
hope
a flu
so.
Shot.
I hope so.
Because coronavirus was around. There was a video that went viral. It's like of a chicken. It was like 8 years ago, and the guy was talking about coronavirus because it used to be a thing with.
Oh yeah, no, yes. It's a coronavirus testing lab that it came from in Wuhan. There's another thing that we can all say now freely.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Well, what's
China, you know.
I mean,
that was hilarious.
Do you not think it came there? Do you think it came from the
I don't know.
pangolin?
That's what
making out
did
with
Jon
the bat?
Stewart say? Jon Stewart said like, if you were in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and a chocolate just lava flow came out, like you'd be like, where did this come from? I don't know. Maybe the giant chocolatey goodness factory in the center of town. Like, he's even, but right, and that's what we mean about misinformation or whatever, and it's all about who's giving you the information.
And it's just
Watch, and this is a weird hypothetical.
And it's just sketchy when they're pushing something down your throat like this, where it could affect your job. It could have,
Right there, you go. Right, I don't get
traveling.
forced to take the fucking flu shot, or
Well, the
I can't
flu
work.
isn't in an epidemic state right now.
How do you know we're in an epidemic state?
right? Who knows
Do you
at this
see?
point?
Have you seen bodies fucking piled up at hospitals? I haven't. I haven't seen that yet. Do you just see people just dropping in grocery stores? No.
I mean, yeah.
We're about to have a
But
fully
it's more
done
like
Super
OD.
Bowl packed to the gills in
And-
L.A.
Yeah, in LA. COVID.
So, you know what I'm
COVID's
saying?
taking the day off. COVID's
Right,
taking the
it's
day off.
it's
So
totally
cool.
fine when there's money to be made and whatever. But even when they had it here last year in Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Wait, even our mother said that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, look at all these people. There's no masks. There's no distancing." And she's a nurse, a retired nurse of over 30 fucking years. Like, don't get me wrong. She knows her shit. She knows the standard precautions. She knows the procedures of quarantine and things of that nature. But she's still in that mode. Even though she's not like 100% like whatever. She knows I'm unvaccinated. Like, she'll roll her eyes at it. But it's not... She's not whipping me out of that. You're not welcome here. It's none of that
She
nonsense.
might as well. Yeah.
But, and then everybody said, oh, all those people, wait for the numbers to just skyrocket in Tampa, and it was crickets.
You just have to
a lot of people got sick from it, but
You
it's
just
like-
compare Florida to New York, and just look at those statistics.
But
They more old people died in New York than here in Florida, and we have more old people statistically than New York.
my point,
Sunshine.
my opinion on it is that we shouldn't care as much as we do. However,
I like that.
because like it's just a flu. Like it hurts. Like it kills people. Flus kill people. It's just
True.
another flu shot.
Right.
It's just a different flu.
But you should have
Okay.
the choice. But you should have the choice. Or do you feel forced to take the flu vaccine every year? No, it's a choice.
But that's because the flu isn't detrimental to everyone's health because it's not. We haven't
But
had
we
like
don't
This
know.
isn't.
We don't know that. We don't know that as of right.
Particularly.
We
killed
don't.
like millions and millions of people. which compared to other stuff,
it's gonna be a different rabbit hole. We're not gonna go down it now, but I have a reason for why I think it targeted the people that may have passed. I'll give you that one because it's not that big of a deal because I've had it and I lived. Guess who else thinks that? Most of the survivors. So okay, right. I get where you're coming from. Like, no, he's all right. I'm pulling a JR.
When all right.
You ever take DMT?
I don't wear masks anymore besides work because work I have to.
Right, they're still doing that shit. I don't wear masks
because I've been vaccinated. I feel safe. I don't have anyone around me that I could.
You're doing the Maddow method. I'm vaccinated, so I'm good.
I don't give a shit what anyone else does.
Right.
Because in my mind, I'm safe. I feel like it works, even
but
if it
doesn't. But it was your choice.
Who the fuck
Were
cares?
you forced to do it? No, it was your choice. But
it was coerced to do it with money.
With the information that he got.
Am I wrong? That's all I'm saying.
No, but I would have gotten it regardless.
You get all these skill incentives. Check it out.
I did
that makes me go.
But regardless,
that's the only reason. Not that I think they're going to give me a microchip. Here's my microchip. I get that. This is the microchip. I get it. It's on me all the time. I have my address. I have a driver's license. I have a social security number. My fingerprints. I'm on the fucking grid. I can bring 2 forms of, my address on a bill to, prove who I am if you have to do that in a circumstance. But it's still just weird. Still just weird. We'll get into that on a different episode because of why I think it's weird.
Oh, we can have a whole debate on that. We can even bring Matt on here too, because I know
Matthew would be fantastic.
I know
for that.
Matt disagrees with a lot of what I have to say, so that would be fun.
Sometimes with what I have to say, but I do with both of them, I do sometimes tend to be like, that's a good point.
My thing is
that's a good point.
And my thing is this: I don't care if you want to wear 10 masks. Get fucking 20 vaccines. I don't care. That's your choice.
Right.
That's what's all about. Choice. You should have the choice. Just like you have the choice if you want to smoke a cigarette or not. You have a choice if you want to do meth or not. It's all about choices.
Depends in the context of what you do.
Please don't do meth, though.
Maybe not.
Oh, that just registered in my brain. Like, yes, I do smoke cigarettes, but then
I'm just saying, we live a life that we have choices, and not everything's a good choice that we do.
Right, but that's my point. Is like the vaccine mandates for like polio and measles. Like you said, they've been definitively proven over years and years and years and years.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that.
Which is understandable. The flu shot, just because that's the comparison I feel comfortable making. The flu shot is like that one thing where, like, my dad gets it every year, and a lot of people are like, I don't need that. Like, you don't need it. Like, you don't feel like you need it. No. I never get flu shots.
I'll get sick, I'll feel like shit for a day or two, and then I go back.
Because it's like, whatever. But it's like, and even they admit...
A lot of fluids.
To the flu shot, like, it doesn't kill every flu. Kills what they think the flu will be for the year.
But again, I tell you, you're not forced to do that. It's a choice. Do I want to get the flu shot this year? Yes or no? No one's forcing you. Your job isn't in jeopardy if you don't, get the flu shot. But in my mind, if you're a
healthcare person or you handle like a lot of people, you should have like.
And that's what passed in the Supreme Court.
That's understandable.
That passed.
I get
Everything else didn't pass, and rightly so, because that's not particularly reasonable to expect from everyone, and Canada is now seeing the fallout of that.
And my whole thing is I've never seen Canada up in arms like this. And it's not just in Canada,
no,
Germany.
I'm going to use your reading glasses.
Oh, shit.
I look smart.
About the fucking pop, people.
All right. February 2nd, 2022.
You
Sweden.
look so smart. You look smart. I didn't... That's as far as I go. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Sweden and Switzerland announced they're joining Norway, Finland, England, Ireland, and Denmark in ending all COVID restrictions. Apparently, that has sparked a bit of more of an uprising in the countries of Brazil, Italy, Australia, and the Netherlands.
So pretty much what you're telling me is that CNN's death tracker toll is they're just going to keep going up, right?
Is that restrictions or like mandates included in that? Or is that just like social distancing?
I'm pretty sure it was either Sweden or Norway at the beginning of it decided to go with no lockdowns and no
Sweden.
Was it Sweden? Yeah, no restrictions, just let it do its thing, and they got a pretty similar outcome.
They don't.
To everybody else.
Their traveling is very strict.
I remember, like, New Zealand was the one thing at, like, the start of it. They said "fuck you" to everyone, closed everything.
We're an island.
Like in Plague Inc. when you it's fucking Madagascar or whatever.
Well, look at Australia. Half of them are locked down.
It's a prison colony again. We've come full circle.
What did I tell you?
History repeats itself.
Yeah. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about choice. Like, if you don't like Joe Rogan or you don't like what he has, you don't have to listen to him.
Right.
He doesn't affect your life on, if he's got Ben Shapiro on every day.
Right.
That doesn't affect your life. You
like
don't
the
have to
disagreements
listen to
you and I have had at work, if I could have chose to just not listen to him and not even try to, feel like I'm talking to a wall or anything like that. But you know what? I hung out with you a little bit more, and the more we got on, the more we were both just going back and forth, and we've changed. There's been some times where, like, you keep saying things, and I'm like, I'm kind of like, and you're like, okay, I could see that too.
Yeah.
It's not like it's all me, But
But
understanding the different views and trying to find the truth, or a truth that we can somewhat believe in and understand that belief can change.
And we have different views, but our end goal is the same.
Right. We want to know.
Right.
That's all.
And not just that, but just live life. Do what makes you happy, or what? Like, who cares?
So your opinion on this is full choice to the person. My opinion is choice within reason, which is pretty much because I am.
What's within reason?
Like, I'm mostly libertarian in my viewpoint on everything. I even hate saying that because I don't like subscribing to a party, but if you say full choice, like, oh yeah, full choice, like, obviously is an extreme example, but does that include full choice to murder? It's like, no, obviously it doesn't. You don't want people murdering everyone. So that's my point, is full choice within reason. If it harms other people, that's why this is kind of iffy, because it's depending on how you think.
Well, considering that the vaccine can still be accepted by a vaccinated host and spread by it, it doesn't matter. You're still putting people at risk. It doesn't matter.
But less so than you would without it.
False. Obviously not. Sorry.
No, obviously not.
It still spreads, and to that individual, sure, but maybe they spread it to somebody fucking else, and it didn't really hold up so well.
What did they tell us last year?
Hey, it's a different strain. I'm just not buying that, man. That's all right. I'm just not buying it. If you want to believe that, that's fine.
I'm just saying no one knows, and it sucks.
It feels like you disagree with that, so you believe a little differently from what I just said.
No one knows, and we don't have a good amount of testing. You're telling me in 6 months we came up with a vaccine like that with we are the guinea pigs. You know that, right? Like, we are the test subjects.
They had a few, but it wasn't quick enough to really get a full result.
And
yes,
we just ignore that. Like,
it's like everyone wanted a vaccine originally.
Right. It was even longer than what you had stated originally when you made that statement.
Yeah.
When I looked it up, I was like, "Damn, dude, you gave them even more leeway than you needed to."
But everyone wanted that. Like, when this first happened, everyone was like waiting for it. Right. And then when it came out, it was like, "Fuck that vaccine," because people want to be, almost said patronized. People want to be polarized. Like, people want to be angry and want to be oppressed and want to be everything.
We love a good fight, don't we?
And it's just be happy, fucking
right. But I do not. But I don't trust the government. But I don't trust the government. And when they're pushing something,
tiny fucking fruits, man.
When they're pushing something as strong as they've been doing, and the media's involved, and they got businesses involved, those to me are red flags. And I got way more red flags than that. But just the basic red flags, that's all I'm saying. But like I said, I don't care. You want to take 50 of them? Go right ahead, dude. I don't care. It doesn't faze me.
Sure. Like
I don't care.
About three's my limit.
Fourth one's coming. But when you start, it already come out.
It's like a second boost. But that's my point. Is like, people are complaining how many shots you're getting. It's like, eventually, depending on the person, you'd be like, 100 because it's just another flu shot. Can you imagine someone who got the first flu shot to now? They probably got fucking 60 of them.
Let me ask you this. How? So do you see this just being a yearly thing?
Yeah.
Like,
I could see that too.
Like get your
That's
flu
the
shot,
endemic. That's the endemic. It's something you're going to have to live with. Yeah.
It's a good thing to get to that point because obviously people have already you get desensitized quickly. That's why the whole like anti-mask, anti-vax thing, because people just stop caring about saving other people or saving themselves. They don't give a shit. They're tired of it. You get desensitized to everything. That's why like I get desensitized to gore and violence because of everything I'm seeing. Yeah. Like, you don't give a shit anymore.
I could eat a spaghetti dinner and watch zombies just feast on someone's entrails. I got no problem.
With the whole mask thing, first of all, they've been proven that they don't work. There's been plenty of doctors
true.
that... Hold on, bro. Let's just say...
That's why we're saying it on a podcast.
Let's just say... I don't give a fuck. You can come fact check me on motherfucking...
Oliver, fact check him now.
Hold on.
Masks work.
Let me just say.
You're scaring me.
If you wear a mask, right, why do I have to wear one? Because you're protected. So what the fuck does it matter if I wear one or not?
Alright.
Because I got news for you. Because we work at the same company, right?
On the part, like the water vapor, because that was the point that one of my teachers made in class. He was like, he wasn't anti-mask, but he just didn't like them. He had glasses like mine.
Yeah.
And we had the shitty cloth masks, whatever. Mm-hmm. His glasses were fucking up.
Yeah.
He made a point. He was like, the fact that my glasses are fucking up is proof that this stuff doesn't work. And everyone kind of laughed because this is before it was all so polarized.
It's all going in your eyes.
But that's my point. Is like the fact that it fogged up showed that it did work, because it's not. He's talking to.
If those vapor droplets are going in your eyes,
he's talking out. It's not going all directly on you. I'm splattering you. There's so many germs right now. You have no idea what's going on, right? If it's going up, it's not. It's like it's still out there in the air. That's why you can still catch it with a mask on, depending on if like it's an end.
Yeah, it goes up and the AC blows it down.
But it's not going directly on you. That's why when someone sneezes on you, like if they're just sick, you might not get sick. But if they sneeze in your mouth, you're getting fucking sick.
Yeah, I get that. But
I'm not a scientist.
I feel like it's more contact points.
I'm not a scientist.
I feel like it's touch points.
But I'm pretty sure we have immune systems.
I feel, like this or I did this, whatever, and I'm touching the table, and whether it's at a I feel like that's probably more of the, but who knows? I'm just speculating.
Right.
I feel like that's probably more what it is.
Do you wear a KN95 mask at work?
No, I just wear.
I know you don't.
Off one.
Yeah, because I've seen you with the mask you wear at work. So
that's my
point. I know you don't. So, but
I think it still works. Number one, I don't even care if it works because half the customers I wish they would get sick because I don't like them.
I can agree. Hold on, I can agree with you on that. Okay?
I'll take some people out.
I think I'm safe even if
I thought it was a blessing when it first came out. I'm like, this is it.
I liked quarantine. I'm not even.
Everybody can just die off, and I can be left alone.
I do live my life quarantine.
I liked it.
I will tell you this fun fact. I'll let Ryan know that even though, because we all work for the same company, we won't say unless if you know. I don't wear a fucking mask at work.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't. And I'll tell you why. My store manager got a fucking sinus infection from wearing a mask. Because guess what? We're not supposed to be wearing fucking masks, okay? We haven't worn masks in hundreds of years, right? Now you tell me all of a sudden now a mask is going to work? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, okay? That's number one.
Do you wear shoes, Will?
Yeah.
Your feet aren't strong enough to walk over rocks?
I could walk over rocks within time. I mean, I'm sure. Within time. I mean, I'm a house cat.
He's not being mandated to wear shoes. Is his point?
No shoes, no shirt, no service.
I'm getting with the two of you. Okay. All right. I get it though. I get it.
I just when
we will have a separate, because Matthew does need to be here for that.
I think so.
So there can be some hooting and hollering. And we can really cut loose.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, like, you're more of a right position person.
No.
I like to think I'm middle.
I'm independent all day. I don't pick a side on any of this bullshit.
I didn't say you're a party. I'm just saying you're right-leaning, which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the political spectrum.
Yeah.
I don't like subscribing to a party, but if I had to, I would say I'm more libertarian, which is kind of just, like, do whatever you like. I believe that you should legalize prostitution and legalize drugs because you could totally.
I've been fucking saying that.
I mean,
this is why having the conversations with him that I've had made me realize that like he does think some of the same things that I do too.
And if you don't recognize,
it's gonna happen
if you don't
anyway.
know about that viewpoint, it sounds insane. Like, why would you want to legalize any of that? But
if it's consensual, it should be legal.
It makes a lot of sense if you talk about it because it's like people are gonna do it anyway. You could tax it. All the women would be safe. They don't have to deal with pimps. You could STD testing.
I was going to say,
be transmitted half as much as they already are. Like, there's so many
Think
the
of
tax money you could make off that is insane.
Think of how bad you would hurt the drug cartels if you made drugs legal.
Right.
The money, taxing.
The taxing. People would be safer. They
it's
wouldn't
controlled
be cut
substance.
with everything. Exactly.
And it's a pure. You don't have to worry about fentanyl and all that other bullshit mixed into that shit.
And you're like. You're kind of, you switch over.
I'm politically fluid, isn't that?
The
proper nomenclature nowadays?
I'd say he's in the middle. If I really had to put it on there, I know he does have a liberal view.
Well, here's the problem I've had throughout the years is growing up, I'm socially liberal. So growing up,
socially liberal, fiscally conservative.
Oh yeah, isn't that a typical 30s fucking saying? So growing up, it was almost appealing. Conservatives were the ones that had their panties in a fucking bunch. That's offensive. I don't like that. That's not proper. Right. That's not okay to say. That's rude. Get this off the TV. You're not allowed to read that. I could go on.
Yeah. And now it's completely
right.
flipped.
So I was like, these are my people, obviously. And then as the years have gone by, when I realized I agree with them 95% of the time, but in that little 5% margin, when I do disagree, they throw a temper tantrum. Like a child.
Yeah.
Labels, names come flying out, and it's just like, whoa, I was just talking
because
about...
they don't have an intelligent argument.
And now, all of a sudden, the conservative side are the people who are yeah, fuck it up! And I'm like, wasn't that you guys when I was growing up?
What?
I'm confused. Now you guys want the offensive jokes and, sex stuff and all that, let it do what I'm just fucking confused, man. I'm confused. I'm confused as everybody else is confused in 2022.
Well, on that note, we'll fucking call it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to start making some fucking dinner.
Yeah.
I need to get me another beer because I am stressed out.
As always, everyone, have a good night and just spread the love and peace.
Let it eat.